The Creator, written by Dale Brown, narrated by Steve Jones. Introduction. The search for origins, a universal need. The search for origins is deeply rooted in the human soul, a universal need transcending cultural, temporal, and geographical barriers. This inexhaustible curiosity about our roots and the genesis of the universe around us represents a constant in the history of humanity. This fundamental question has manifested in every era and society with surprising strength and persistence. This need to explore and understand our origins can be seen as one of the oldest and most innate human tendencies. Since the first civilizations, man has looked up at the starry sky, questioned the cycle of life and death, and observed nature with wonder and amazement, trying to find meaning and order in what appeared like primordial chaos. This research has given rise to a rich tapestry of myths, legends, and theories that attempt to explain the world's creation and humanity. Cosmogonic narratives present in all cultures are testimony to this desire for answers. From the intricate mythologies of the ancient Egyptians and Greeks, who told of creator gods and goddesses, to the biblical narrative of Genesis, from the Vedic cosmology of ancient India, to the creation stories of the indigenous peoples of America, every culture has sought to answer the mystery of our origins through story and symbolism. These stories are not simply attempts to explain the natural world. They also reflect a deep understanding of the human being's place in the universe. Through these narratives, people sought to explain how life began and define their role and purpose. Creation is not only seen as a physical event, but also as an act with profound meaning, which connects the individual to a broader reality and a chain of existence that goes beyond everyday life. Furthermore, the search for origins is crucial in how communities define themselves and understand their place in the world. Creation stories serve as the foundation for value systems, moral laws, and social structures, offering guidance on how to live in harmony with others and our surroundings. These narratives contribute to forming the collective identity of a society, strengthening the sense of belonging and continuity between generations. In the modern era, the search for origins extends beyond the boundaries of mythology and religion, embracing the discoveries of science, from the Big Bang Theory to genetics and biological evolution. This scientific approach has significantly expanded our understanding of the universe's origins and life on Earth, offering new perspectives on ancient questions. However, despite scientific advances, the human need to find meaning and a broader context for our existence remains unchanged. The search for origins, therefore, is much more than a simple question of how it all began. It is a continuous reflection on human existence, our place in the universe, and the profound connections that bind us to life, the earth, and the cosmos. It is a testament to our inexhaustible thirst for knowledge and our relentless quest for understanding, a journey that, despite the many answers found over the millennia, continues to inspire, amaze, and challenge. Various conceptions of the Creator across world cultures. Exploring various conceptions of the Creator across world cultures takes us on a journey through the diversity of human thought, reflecting how each society has sought to understand the origin of the universe and the meaning of life. This mosaic of beliefs reveals the depth and complexity humanity has faced with great existential questions. In polytheistic cultures, such as those of the ancient Egyptians or Greeks, the world's origin is attributed to a pantheon of deities, each with specific creative powers. These traditions see creation as a collective act, where the gods collaborate or compete in shaping the universe. In contrast, monotheistic religions such as Christianity, Judaism, and Islam present a single omnipotent God, the absolute creator of all that exists. This vision emphasizes divine oneness and omnipotence, establishing a direct and personal relationship between the Creator and believers. At the same time, some philosophies and spiritual traditions offer a more abstract and impersonal perspective. In Hinduism, for example, the creative principle of Brahman is seen as the ultimate reality from which everything emanates, an immanent yet transcendent presence without form or attributes. Similarly, in Taoism, Tao represents the fundamental and eternal principle from which everything derives, a concept that defies any limited definition. Animist cultures, often rooted in indigenous societies, view creation as a living, dynamic process mediated by natural spirits and cosmic forces that animate every aspect of the natural world. This vision emphasizes a deep sense of connection and reciprocity between humans and the environment they inhabit. Cultural syncretism then generated an even richer fabric of beliefs in which elements of different traditions intertwine, reflecting the interaction and mutual influence between peoples and cultures over the centuries. These fusions of beliefs highlight the human capacity to adapt and reinterpret conceptions of the divine in response to new contexts and knowledge. Today, understanding the Creator is also influenced by scientific discoveries and interreligious dialogue, leading many to seek integration between faith and reason, ancient spiritual traditions, and new understandings of the universe. This process of continuous evolution reflects the human desire to harmonize our knowledge about the world with our deepest beliefs. Therefore, the different representations of the Creator offer an overview of human answers to the fundamental questions of existence and a testimony to our constant search for meaning. This journey continues to define our understanding of ourselves and the place we occupy in the universe. The importance of the Creator's narrative in everyday life. Creator storytelling plays a vital role in everyday life, influencing how people understand the world around them and how they see themselves in it. These stories, rooted in religious, mythological, and philosophical traditions, offer a framework through which individuals and communities interpret their existence, find comfort in life's uncertainties, and guide their moral and ethical actions. At the heart of these narratives is the search for meaning. In a vast and often incomprehensible universe, Creator stories help people find a sense of belonging and purpose. They answer fundamental questions about who we are, where we come from, and why we exist, offering a broader context to place our lives. This sense of purpose can be profoundly reassuring, offering a moral and spiritual compass that helps individuals navigate the challenges of their existence. Creator narratives also profoundly influence social values and norms. Many laws, traditions, and ethical practices are rooted in religious and mythological stories that outline acceptable or desirable behavior. These stories can promote values such as love, justice, compassion, and respect for creation, serving as pillars for building cohesive and supportive communities. Furthermore, Creator narratives provide a means through which cultures pass on their legacy and identity to future generations. Stories of how the world was created and the role of humans in it are central to the education of young people, teaching them not only about their culture and religion, but also about shared universal values. The Creator's narratives also profoundly influence spirituality and daily religious practice. Prayers, rituals, and ceremonies often draw directly from these stories, allowing believers to connect with the divine and remember and celebrate the act of creation. These practices can offer comfort, hope, and a connection to something greater than oneself, especially in times of crisis or loss. In an age characterized by the advancement of science and secularization, Creator narratives continue to evolve, finding new ways to answer humanity's existential questions. The ability of these stories to adapt and remain relevant demonstrates their intrinsic importance to human understanding of the world and our place in it. Whether literal or symbolic interpretations, Creator narratives remain an essential reference point for many people, offering a source of inspiration, guidance, and comfort in everyday life. Psychological foundations. Psychological theories on faith. In its broadest essence, faith is a complex phenomenon intertwined with the human being's cognitive, emotional, and social dimensions. Psychological theories of belief seek to explore and explain how and why individuals and communities believe, attributing deep and variable meanings to their beliefs. These theories offer illuminating perspectives on faith's origin, function, and impact on human life, spanning approaches ranging from psychoanalysis to cognitive, social, and developmental psychology. Psychoanalysis and faith. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, interpreted faith as a form of neurotic illusion, an expression of unconscious and infantile desires for protection and security. For Freud, divine figures represent amplified projections of parents, offering comfort in the face of existential anxieties and the fear of death. Carl Jung, on the other hand, saw faith and spirituality as manifestations of the collective unconscious, essential to the process of individuation and the achievement of complete personal fulfillment. Jung viewed religious beliefs not as illusions, but as symbolic expressions of profound psychological truths and universal archetypes. Cognitive psychology of faith. Cognitive psychology focuses on how people perceive, think about, and understand the spiritual world. This approach explores the mental processes behind forming and maintaining religious beliefs, such as attributing causes and meanings to events and using cognitive schemas to interpret spiritual experiences. According to this perspective, faith can be seen as a product of cognitive evolution, which offers adaptive advantages such as social cohesion and psychological comfort. Developmental psychology and faith. Developmental psychology examines how faith evolves from childhood to adulthood, emphasizing the role of environment, upbringing, and personal experiences. James Fowler proposed a theory of the stages of faith that describes how people go through different stages of understanding and expressing faith throughout their lives, from a literal and concrete view to a more abstract and symbolic one, reflecting a spiritual maturation. Social psychology of faith. The social psychology of faith investigates social and cultural influences on religious beliefs, exploring how community structures, traditions, and social norms shape and support individual and collective faith. This field also studies the impact of trust on identity formation, group membership, and social behavior, highlighting how religion can promote solidarity and mutual support, but also conflict and division. These different psychological perspectives offer a rich and multidimensional picture of faith, highlighting its complexity and profound entanglement with human experience. Faith emerges not just as a matter of personal belief, but as an intricate phenomenon that touches every aspect of being human, from our innermost psyche to our relationships with others and the external world. Psychoanalysis and the origin of faith. Psychoanalysis, with its insights provided by figures such as Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, explores the deep roots of faith, illuminating how underlying psychic dynamics influence religious beliefs. This field offers a unique window into the complex interactions between human needs, unconscious desires, and the very structure of the mind in the context of faith. Freud. Faith as an expression of infantile needs. For Sigmund Freud, religious faith is intrinsically linked to desires and fears rooted in childhood. He interprets the belief in omnipotent deities as a projection of infantile needs for protection and security originating from dependence on parents. In his works, Freud describes religion as an attempt to alleviate existential anguish and answer the big questions about life, death, and the universe, but using a framework based on illusions that, in his opinion, hinder the development of autonomy and emotional maturity. Jung. Faith as a connection to the collective unconscious. Carl Jung, for his part, offers a more positive and complex vision of faith. Contrary to Freud, Jung considers religious beliefs not illusions, but vital expressions of the collective unconscious, the repository of archetypes and symbols all humanity shares. For Jung, religiosity is a vehicle for exploring these profound dimensions, a means through which individuals can undertake the journey of individuation, or the process of integration and realization of the self. Therefore, faith becomes a path toward self-understanding and union with aspects of existence beyond individual consciousness. Despite their differences, both theorists underline the importance of faith in the human psyche. Freud highlights how faith can serve as a defense mechanism to navigate existential uncertainty, while Jung highlights its role as a bridge to a deeper understanding of human existence through accessing more profound levels of the psyche. These perspectives offer a rich and multifaceted picture of how faith takes root and operates in the human mind, highlighting its complexity and profound impact on human experience. Cognitive psychology and the structure of belief. Cognitive psychology opens a window into how we form, maintain, and operate through our beliefs, including religious faith, shedding light on the mental mechanisms that underlie these processes. In exploring the structure of religion, we understand how personal experiences, social influence, and upbringing shape our beliefs from nothing, creating complex systems that shape our interpretation of the world and our interaction with it. Beliefs are formed through direct learning and observation, filtered through the prism of our previous experiences and the culture around us. Once rooted, these beliefs are supported and reinforced by mechanisms such as the tendency to favor information that confirms what we already believe, and the need to reduce the tension that arises from holding contradictory ideas, a phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance. Community practices and religious rituals are crucial in reinforcing these beliefs, creating a cycle of confirmation and reinforcement. These beliefs do not stand alone but are part of a more extensive network of ideas and values that interact, influencing our perceptions and actions. Religious beliefs, in particular, offer a coherent framework that helps believers navigate complex questions of morality, purpose, and meaning. This belief system is more than a set of ideas. It is a map that guides believers through life, influencing decisions, behaviors, and even a sense of well-being. Beliefs significantly impact how we see and react to the world, motivating actions that reflect specific values and norms. Through forming and maintaining beliefs, we can see how religious and spiritual views become an integral part of the human experience, deeply ingrained in our psyche and influencing every aspect of our lives. In this way, cognitive psychology provides us with the tools to understand the complexity of our religious beliefs, revealing the processes through which these worldviews take shape, persist over time, and guide our path in life, showing the profound connection between mind, faith, and action. Human needs and spirituality. Human needs and spirituality are deeply intertwined, reflecting how the search for meaning, purpose, and connection transcends material needs to touch the most profound dimensions of human experience. This link between needs and spirituality manifests in various ways, influencing individual well-being, interpersonal relationships, and the perception of one's life and the surrounding world. At the center of this intersection are the fundamental needs described by Abraham Maslow, including those of belonging, esteem, and, in particular, self-actualization. The latter represents the need to realize one's maximum potential and find profound, personal fulfillment. Spirituality often comes into play to meet these higher needs, offering paths to self-understanding, self-expression, and inner harmony. Spirituality can provide a broader sense of belonging, connecting the individual to a community of believers or a transcendent reality surpassing physical existence's boundaries. This sense of connection can provide comfort, reduce feelings of isolation, and promote inner peace and security. Additionally, spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, or participation in religious ceremonies can improve self-awareness and promote balance and well-being. The search for meaning is another basic human need that spirituality helps satisfy. Faced with the uncertainty of life and the prospect of mortality, spiritual beliefs and practices offer explanations that give meaning to existence, suffering, and joy. These narratives can help people navigate life's challenges, providing a moral and ethical compass and inspiring actions and decisions that reflect deep values. Furthermore, spirituality can play a crucial role in the process of self-realization, encouraging the individual to explore and develop their unique talents, pursue their goals, and contribute to the well-being of others. This aspect of spirituality satisfies the need for personal growth and strengthens the sense of belonging and contributing to something greater than oneself. In conclusion, human needs and spirituality are intimately connected, with spirituality answering deep psychological needs for meaning, connection, and growth. Through this interaction, spirituality becomes an essential dimension of human existence, enriching life with depth, purpose, and direction. Maslow and the hierarchy of needs. The hierarchy of needs theory, proposed by psychologist Abraham Maslow in the 1940s, offers a structured view of how human needs influence motivation and behavior. According to Maslow, human needs are organized in a pyramid hierarchy, with the most basic needs at the base and the highest needs at the top. Individuals are motivated to satisfy lower needs before they can aspire to higher ones. This hierarchy is commonly divided into 5 primary levels: physiological needs, safety needs, belonging and love needs, esteem needs, and finally, the need for self-actualization. Physiological needs. At the pyramid's base are physiological needs, including food, water, rest, and shelter. These needs represent the most basic requirements for physical survival. When these needs are unmet, the ability to pursue higher-level needs may be compromised. Security needs. At the second level, safety needs concern, seeking protection from dangerous elements, financial stability, health, and well-being. These needs reflect the desire to live in a safe and predictable environment. Needs for belonging and love. The third level is the need for belonging and love, which include friendships, intimate relationships, and family ties. These needs highlight the importance of social relationships and group membership, underlining how human beings are profoundly social and need to feel accepted and loved. Esteem needs. Esteem needs to occupy the fourth level of the hierarchy. These needs refer to the desire to be respected, to be successful, and to gain recognition from others. Esteem can come both from within, in the form of self-esteem, and from without, through the recognition and respect of others. Need for self-realization. At the top of the pyramid is the need for self-actualization, which Maslow describes as the desire to realize one's potential and become the person one is destined to be. This level is about personal growth, creative expression, finding personal goals, and realizing your unique abilities. Maslow argues that as lower-level needs are satisfied, individuals can focus on higher-level needs. However, the progression is not always linear. People can move back and forth between levels based on life circumstances and changes in their needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs has exerted significant influence in various fields, from psychology to business management, providing a valuable framework for understanding human motivation and promoting individual and collective well-being. The search for meaning and belonging. The search for meaning and belonging is intrinsically linked to the human condition, driving our deepest aspirations and influencing every aspect of our lives. This impulse to seek purpose goes beyond mere survival, pushing us toward broader questions about who we are and why we exist, and invites us to explore the boundaries of spirituality, creativity, and interpersonal relationships to find answers. On this journey, the meaning and the belonging we desire are intertwined, revealing how one can nourish and enrich the other. At the heart of this research is the need to belong, reflecting our social nature and the desire to connect with others profoundly. The communities, friendships, and relationships we build offer a sense of safety, acceptance, and support, playing a vital role in our emotional and psychological well-being. These connections allow us to share experiences, grow together, and feel part of something bigger. At the same time, the search for meaning pushes us to engage in activities that reflect our deepest values, to pursue goals that feel important, and to contribute to the world in ways that resonate with our unique vision of life. This path to self-realization helps us discover and express our highest potential, offering us a deep sense of satisfaction and purpose. These two searches feed each other for meaning and belonging, creating a cycle of personal growth and connection. Through this process, we learn to better understand ourselves and the world around us, finding our unique place in the web of human life. Enriched by challenges and discoveries, this journey is essential to defining our identity, shaping our relationships, and influencing our contribution to society. The scientific vision, cosmology and the concept of creation. Cosmology and the concept of creation occupy a unique position at the intersection of science, philosophy, and spirituality, exploring the origins and fundamental structure of the universe. This field of study extends from ancient cosmogonic narratives to modern scientific theories such as that of the Big Bang, which seeks to explain how the universe emerged from a state of extremely high density and temperature. Scientific cosmology uses physics principles to understand the universe's birth, evolution, and possible fate. Supported by astronomical observations and experiments, scientists have developed models that describe the universe's expansion, the distribution of matter and dark energy, and the formation of galaxies and large-scale structures. These efforts have led to significant insights into order and chaos in the universe, revealing a cosmos that follows precise physical laws even in its most chaotic and disordered manifestations. At the same time, the relationship between science and religion has gone through several phases, from periods of open conflict to moments of dialogue and mutual inspiration. The tension between these worldviews emerges particularly in the creation debate, where religious and scientific explanations of the universe's origin can seem incompatible. However, many have sought ways of coexisting, suggesting that science and spirituality can offer complementary perspectives on reality, each with its scope of questions and answers. In the 21st century, the discussion has been further enriched with growing interest in neurotheology, which explores how spiritual and religious experiences are related to specific patterns of brain activity. This field of research suggests that spirituality may be deeply rooted in human biology, offering new perspectives on how faith and perception of the divine are universal human experiences, perhaps linked to the very structure of our brains. In this context, cosmology, understood as a science and an element of spiritual storytelling, continues to inspire humanity in its search for meaning. It offers a space where science and spirituality can dialogue, stimulating profound questions about existence, the origin of the universe, and our place in the cosmos. This interaction enriches both perspectives, inviting continuous exploration beyond the boundaries of current knowledge, in search of a more integrated and holistic understanding of reality. Big Bang and theories about the universe. The Big Bang theory represents one of the fundamental pillars of modern cosmology, describing the universe's origin as an expansion from an initially boiling and very dense state, which occurred approximately 13.8 billion years ago. This model provides a scientific explanation for the formation of the universe, offering a basis for understanding not only how the universe came into being, but also how it evolved. According to the Big Bang theory, the universe began from a singularity, a point of infinite density and extreme temperature, from which it began to expand. This expansion led to the universe's cooling, allowing the formation of subatomic particles, atoms, and, subsequently, stars and galaxies. Evidence supporting this theory includes the cosmic background radiation, a thermal echo of the initial explosion, and the large-scale distribution of galaxies, which shows the universe's expansion over time. Theories about the universe do not stop at the narrative of the Big Bang. Scientists continue to explore fundamental questions regarding dark matter, dark energy, and the possible existence of multiple universes or additional dimensions beyond the four known, three spaces, and one time. Dark matter is a form of matter that does not emit light or radiation and, therefore, cannot be observed directly, but whose presence is inferred from the gravitational effects it exerts on visible objects such as galaxies. On the other hand, dark energy is a mysterious component that appears to be responsible for accelerating the universe's expansion, a phenomenon that goes beyond predictions based on Newtonian and Einsteinian gravity alone. Theories about the universe also extend to the concept of the multiverse, the idea that our universe is only one in a nearly infinite set of universes, each with its physical laws. While these ideas remain on the border between speculation and established science, they stimulate discussions and research that could one day radically expand our understanding of reality. In this context, modern science presents a vision of the universe that is both fascinating and complex, highlighting our ongoing quest for knowledge and understanding. The Big Bang theory and subsequent investigations into the universe explain how the universe may have originated and evolved, and push us to reflect on our place in the cosmos and the very nature of reality. Order and chaos, the physics behind the universe. The duality between order and chaos is a central theme in physics that describes the universe, reflecting how complex structures and ordered patterns emerge from initial conditions that may appear random or chaotic. This interplay between order and chaos manifests itself in various fields of physics, from quantum mechanics to thermodynamics, chaos theory, and cosmology, offering a fascinating perspective on the intrinsically dynamic nature of the universe. Quantum mechanics and the intricate order of the infinitely small. Quantum mechanics, which explores the behavior of subatomic particles, reveals a world where order and chaos coexist in non-intuitive ways. Phenomena such as quantum entanglement and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle show how order at the quantum level is governed by probabilistic rather than deterministic laws, introducing an element of chaos into the behavior of particles which, however, follows precise rules and predictable. Thermodynamics and the emergence of order from chaos. Studying energy systems and their balance, thermodynamics illustrates how order can emerge from chaos through natural processes. The second law of thermodynamics, which states the increase in entropy or disorder in an isolated system, suggests an inexorable march towards chaos. However, in open systems that exchange energy with the environment, highly ordered structures can form, such as stars, planets, and even life itself, demonstrating how order can arise from initially disordered conditions. Chaos theory and sensitivity to initial conditions. Chaos theory, which studies dynamic systems susceptible to their initial conditions, offers another example of how order and chaos are interconnected. In chaotic systems like weather or population dynamics, slight variations in starting conditions can lead to vastly different outcomes, a phenomenon known as the butterfly effect. This sensitivity reveals an underlying order even in outwardly chaotic systems, with fractal patterns and other complex structures emerging from simple rules. Cosmology and the architecture of the universe. In cosmology, order and chaos play crucial roles in the formation and evolution of the universe. From the apparent chaos of the Big Bang, ordered structures such as galaxies, stars, and planetary systems emerged, following the fundamental laws of physics. These laws, which govern gravity, nuclear forces, and electromagnetism, drive cosmic evolution from a chaotic origin to a universe characterized by order on immense scales. Therefore, the physics behind the universe reveals a richly woven fabric of order and chaos, where complexity emerges from fundamental and straightforward rules. This dynamic between order and chaos not only defines the universe's structure, but also invites more profound reflections on the laws that govern reality and our place in the cosmic order. Science versus religion? The debate between science and religion has its roots in the profound divergence between two ways of investigating and understanding reality. While science proceeds through empirical observation and logical reasoning to reveal the mechanisms that regulate the universe, religion is based on faith and spiritual traditions to explore the deeper meaning of human existence and the cosmos. This apparent contrast has given rise to historic conflicts and opened the way to fruitful dialogues, revealing possibilities for integration and mutual enrichment. Throughout history, episodes such as the trial of Galileo and the controversies over evolutionism have highlighted moments of tension between the Church and the scientific community, when scientific discoveries seem to threaten literal interpretations of sacred texts. However, many thinkers, both scientists and religious, have underlined that science and religion investigate different areas of human experience. Science focuses on how natural phenomena occur, while religion questions the ultimate reasons and meaning of existence. This distinction has paved the way for a more complementary vision, in which science's ability to reveal the universe's wonders can inspire a sense of awe and reverence that strengthens spiritual inquiry. In the same way, religion can offer an ethical and value framework to insert scientific discoveries, promoting reflection on the moral implications of technological and scientific progress. Contemporary approaches, such as neurotheology, which examines the effects of spiritual experiences on the human brain, demonstrate that science and faith can converge in a joint investigation into the mysteries of human existence in the cosmos. In this sense, the dialogue between science and religion is possible. It can be a source of mutual enrichment, offering different but complementary perspectives on the complexity of the world and our search for meaning. Integrating science and religion requires openness, respect, and the willingness to explore unknown lands of both knowledge and spirit. By recognizing that both approaches contribute to our understanding of the universe in unique and valuable ways, we can advance toward a more holistic view of existence, where the thirst for knowledge and the search for meaning proceed side by side. Historical conflicts and dialogues. The relationship between science and religion, marked by moments of clear contrast, but also by phases of fertile dialogue, reflects the tension and harmony between two different paths of search for meaning and truth. Emblematic of this dynamic is the case of Galileo Galilei, whose defense of the heliocentric system in the 17th century challenged the geocentric conception supported by the Church, bringing him into confrontation with the religious authority of the time. This episode symbolizes the struggle for freedom of scientific inquiry in the face of literal religious interpretations. Similarly, the evolution debate raised by Darwin's theories has highlighted the tensions generated by applying literal interpretations of sacred texts to understanding the natural world. This comparison continues to influence the dialogue between science and faith. Despite these moments of conflict, history offers numerous examples of attempts at reconciliation and integration between the two camps. Figures such as St. Thomas Aquinas have sought to harmonize reason and faith. In contrast, more modern initiatives, such as the Second Vatican Council, have marked moments of openness and recognition of the value of scientific investigation by the Catholic Church, promoting a constructive dialogue between these two distant worlds. Recently, the growing interest in the dialogue between science and religion has led to the creation of platforms dedicated to exploring their intersections, recognizing that both fields can offer unique contributions to understanding human and universal reality. These initiatives highlight the possibility of collaboration between science and faith in addressing emerging ethical issues and promoting a more holistic vision of existence. In this evolutionary context, the relationship between science and religion presents a dynamic terrain where historical comparison and current dialogue intertwine in a complex path. This interaction suggests that science and religion can coexist and collaborate while maintaining their methodological and epistemological distinctions, mutually enriching our search for knowledge and meaning. Coexistence of science and spirituality in the 21st century. The coexistence of science and spirituality in the 21st century reflects an ever-evolving cultural and intellectual landscape where the frontiers between empirical knowledge and spiritual research become increasingly porous. In this century, characterized by rapid scientific and technological advances and a renewed search for meaning and spiritual connection, a more mature and profound dialogue emerges between these two fields of human knowledge. The growing interest in the neuroscience and psychology of religion is a significant example of how science explores domains traditionally considered to pertain to spirituality. These studies focus on how spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, and ritual influence the brain and psychological well-being, offering insights into how spirituality may have deep roots in human biology and psychology. In parallel, many spiritual and religious traditions incorporate scientific discoveries into their understanding of the world, recognizing that science offers powerful tools for exploring the universe and human life. This open and inclusive approach allows for a fusion of knowledge that enriches spiritual practice and scientific research, promoting a holistic vision of existence. Environmental sustainability is another field where science and spirituality find common ground in the 21st century. The global ecological crisis has stimulated a joint reflection on our relationship with the planet, where science provides data and analysis on the impact of human activities on the environment. At the same time, spirituality offers an ethical and value framework that underlines responsibility towards the earth as our shared and sacred environment. Furthermore, Interfaith dialogue and collaboration between faith communities and the scientific community are becoming increasingly common to address global issues such as poverty, health, and education. These partnerships demonstrate that when science and spirituality work together, innovative and comprehensive solutions to the problems we face as a society can emerge. In the 21st century, therefore, we are witnessing an easing of historical tensions between science and spirituality, favoring a coexistence that enhances both empirical rigor and spiritual depth. This period of convergence highlights the possibility of mutual enrichment, where science and spirituality can collaborate to broaden our understanding of the universe and promote human well-being on a global scale. Neurotheology, where science and spirituality meet. The spiritual brain. In research on the intersections between neuroscience and spirituality, the spiritual brain concept is increasingly revealed as a fascinating field that illuminates the biology of spiritual experiences. This approach, known as neurotheology, reveals that experiences of profound spirituality, such as meditation, prayer, or moments of intense religious connection, are rooted in the specific neural dynamics of the human brain. Using advanced tools such as functional magnetic resonance imaging and electroencephalography, scientists have mapped the brain areas that come alive or quiet during these practices, offering a window into the neural basis of transcendence and mysticism. Research indicates that parts of the brain, such as the temporal lobe and parietal lobe, known for their role in self-perception and spatial reality construction, show altered activity patterns that may be linked to feelings of oneness with the universe or the perception of divine presences. This suggests that our ability to experience moments of deep spiritual connection is innate, a fundamental aspect of our neurology. Furthermore, these findings open new perspectives on the implications of spiritual practices for well-being. Meditation, prayer, and other forms of devotion enrich individuals' spiritual lives and bring measurable mental and physical health benefits. Positive effects include decreased stress, improved emotional balance, and general well-being, all linked to specific changes in brain activity. This expanding dialogue between science and spirituality challenges the traditional perception of faith and religiosity as separate from the empirical and rational world, highlighting how spiritual practices are deeply intertwined with our biological essence. By recognizing that spirituality is rooted in the structure of our brains, we can begin to see spiritual seeking not just as a matter of personal or cultural faith, but as a universal aspect of human experience, amenable to scientific investigation. As the 21st century progresses, the growing body of research on the spiritual brain promises to enrich further our understanding of how the spiritual dimensions of life influence the mind and body. These discoveries invite a deeper investigation into the potential of spirituality as a resource for well-being, offering a more complete vision of the human being that embraces both his biological complexity and his aspiration to transcendence. Studies on brain activity during spiritual experiences. Exploring brain activity during spiritual experiences is breaking new ground in neuroscience, shedding light on how moments of profound spiritual connection are rooted in our biology. Using advanced imaging techniques, such as functional magnetic resonance imaging and electroencephalography, researchers have observed the areas of the brain that activate or deactivate life during practices such as meditation and prayer, revealing the complex neural network behind our mystical experiences. One of the most intriguing findings is the decreased activity in the parietal lobe during such experiences, linked to the loss of self-boundaries and a feeling of merging with the universe. This phenomenon offers a neurological interpretation of what many describe as an experience of transcendence or deep spiritual connection. At the same time, increased activity in areas of the frontal lobe highlights the importance of concentration and intentionality in spiritual practices, indicating that mental focus is a crucial aspect of these experiences. In addition to deciphering the neural basis of spiritual experiences, research also investigates how these practices influence overall well-being. Regular engagement in spiritual activities has been linked to improved stress management and emotional balance, suggesting a potential therapeutic role for spirituality in mental health. These positive effects, measurable through changes in brain activity, highlight how spirituality can be a vital support for our psychological and physical well-being. Despite this progress, research on correlations between spirituality and brain activity faces methodological challenges due to the subjective and deeply personal nature of spiritual experiences. The difficulty of standardizing study conditions and the variety of spiritual practices requires a cautious and multidisciplinary approach for comprehensive understanding. Looking to the future, the field of neurotheology promises to further deepen our insight into the interactions between mind, body, and spirit by exploring the long-term implications of spiritual practices on neuroplasticity and overall brain functioning. These studies could enrich our understanding of the spiritual dimension of the human being and offer new perspectives for integrating spirituality into wellness practices, promoting an approach to health that considers the individual in their entirety. Effects of meditation and prayer on the brain. Meditation and prayer, spiritual practices rooted in multiple cultures and religious traditions, have been shown to significantly affect the brain, offering fascinating insights into the interactions between spirituality and neuroscience. These practices influence individuals' mental and emotional states and induce measurable changes in brain activity, highlighting the human mind's power to influence its biological functioning. Neuroscientific studies have revealed that meditation and prayer can lead to reduced activity in areas of the brain associated with stress and anxiety, such as the amygdala, contributing to a sense of calm and well-being. These practices also stimulate the activation of regions related to awareness, focused attention, and compassion, such as the frontal lobe and prefrontal cortex, facilitating a more remarkable ability to manage stress and respond more balanced to daily challenges. One of the most notable effects of long-term meditation is increased gray matter density in areas of the brain responsible for memory, self-awareness, and emotional regulation, suggesting that these practices may contribute to improved cognitive function and health. Mental. Similarly, prayer has been associated with changes in brainwave activity, promoting deep relaxation and enhancing emotional resilience. Additionally, regular practice of meditation and prayer has been shown to improve functional connectivity between different brain regions, promoting greater brain integration. This can translate into better synthesizing rational and emotional thought, enriching the human experience with greater inner harmony and a more holistic vision of life. These neurobiological effects of spiritual practices highlight the therapeutic potential of meditation and prayer as non-pharmacological tools for treating conditions related to stress and anxiety, as well as offering avenues for personal and spiritual growth. Research in this field continues to expand our understanding of how spirituality profoundly influences the brain and body, opening up new possibilities for integrating these ancient practices into modern wellness strategies. Implications of neurotheology. Neurotheology explores the connections between religious and spiritual practices and their manifestation in the brain, offering a new lens through which to examine the intertwining of faith and biology. This field of study, located at the intersection of neuroscience and theology, has begun to reveal how spirituality is not just a matter of cultural or personal beliefs, but can also have deep roots in the structure and functioning of the human brain. Studies in this area show how meditation, prayer, and other spiritual practices can directly influence brain activity, leading to measurable changes that significantly impact our understanding of human experience and individual well-being. Research in neurotheology blurs the lines between science and religion. It opens a fruitful dialogue that allows us to investigate profound questions regarding consciousness, identity, and existential meaning from a multidisciplinary perspective. This dialogue enriches the scientific and spiritual fields, promoting a more holistic view of human existence that respects the complexity of our search for meaning. At the same time, studies on the neural basis of spiritual experiences offer new insights into the potential benefits of religious and meditative practices for mental and physical health. The ability to reduce stress, improve emotional balance, and promote overall well-being through meditation or prayer highlights the power of spirituality as a tool for healing and personal growth. These discoveries open the door to innovative, therapeutic modalities that integrate spiritual dimensions into treating psychological disorders, underlining the importance of considering the human being as a whole. However, neurotheology also raises important ethical and philosophical questions regarding free will, the authenticity of spiritual experiences, and the implications of being able to influence such experiences through biological interventions. The challenge lies in navigating these complex topics with care and respect for the wide range of spiritual experiences and beliefs, ensuring that research in the field is conducted with integrity and sensitivity. In summary, neurotheology represents an exciting research frontier that deepens our understanding of the neural roots of spirituality and encourages a more inclusive and comprehensive approach toward the pursuit of well-being, highlighting the intrinsic importance of spiritual dimensions in human life. Faith as a neural experience. The idea that faith can be considered a neural experience poses an intriguing challenge to traditional understandings of spiritual experiences, placing them firmly in the domain of neurobiological exploration. This approach highlights how specific patterns of brain activity accompany moments of profound spirituality and religious connection, and opens a new dimension of dialogue between science and the spiritual dimension of human existence. Through studies in the emerging field of neurotheology, we have begun to observe how practices such as meditation and prayer activate areas of the brain linked to awareness, empathy, and the reduction of self-centeredness, suggesting that such spiritual practices have a tangible impact on the structure and functioning of our brain. This perspective has profound implications for neuroscience, which is now tasked with mapping how the brain navigates spiritually induced altered states of consciousness, and how we understand the benefits of faith for personal well-being. Research indicates that engaging in spiritual activities may be directly linked to improvements in stress management, ability to concentrate, reduced anxiety, and an overall feeling of peace, suggesting that these beneficial effects may result from specific neural changes. However, this understanding brings significant challenges as it raises questions regarding the potential reduction of spiritual experiences to mere brain functions, neglecting their metaphysical, symbolic, and communal dimensions. Nonetheless, it also offers a unique opportunity to enrich the dialogue between science and spirituality, promoting a more integrated and holistic understanding of faith. The goal is not to diminish the importance of spirituality, but to explore how human biological and spiritual dimensions are intertwined, offering a comprehensive vision encompassing our searches for meaning and our profoundly physical and neural being. In conclusion, seeing faith as a neural experience opens new horizons for understanding the complexity of human experience, suggesting that spirituality, far from being a marginal or superfluous aspect of human life, is intrinsically linked to our biology. This calls for a more inclusive and comprehensive approach in which science and faith can collaborate to enrich our understanding of human existence, promoting well-being and a deep connection with the mystery of being. Possible scientific explanations for spiritual experiences. Interest in possible scientific explanations for spiritual experiences reflects the human curiosity to understand phenomena that transcend the ordinary, seeking to bridge the gap between the material and the metaphysical. This field of research, which extends across several scientific disciplines, has begun to offer insights into how deeply personal and transcendental experiences can be rooted in biological, psychological, and neurological mechanisms. One explanation focuses on brain activity, particularly areas that regulate self-perception and spatial awareness. Neuroimaging studies have shown that during spiritual experiences, such as deep meditation or intense prayer, a change in activity occurs in these areas, leading to a feeling of union with something greater than oneself. These changes in brain activity suggest that experiences of transcendence may arise from specific neural states. Another line of research explores the role of psychological processes in modulating spiritual experiences. Expectations, cultural context, and personal predisposition can profoundly influence the perception and interpretation of such experiences. This approach suggests that the cognitive and emotional structures through which we process information play a crucial role in determining how we interpret phenomena that we might label as spiritual. Furthermore, research has examined how specific physiological conditions or altered states of consciousness induced by practices such as fasting, isolation, or psychotropic substances can facilitate experiences perceived as spiritual. These states can amplify or alter sensory and internal perception, providing fertile ground for experiences that transcend ordinary, everyday awareness. Finally, biological evolution offers an exciting perspective on the roots of spiritual experiences, proposing that the human tendency to seek spiritual connections may have had adaptive advantages. For example, social cohesion and mutual support, strengthened by shared spiritual and religious beliefs, may have played an essential role in the survival and success of human groups. In summary, scientific explanations for spiritual experiences do not seek to diminish their personal or collective importance or value. Instead, they offer a framework to understand how such experiences are integrated into the complex fabric of being human, revealing the depth and richness of our biological, psychological, and spiritual nature. This research continues to open up new avenues for exploring the intersection of science and spirituality, enriching our understanding of the vast landscape of human experience. History and evolution of beliefs in the Creator, from nature divinities to monotheism. The transition from nature deities to monotheism is a crucial turning point in humanity's religious history, marking a profound shift in spiritual beliefs and practices across millennia. This passage, which has crossed various cultures and civilizations, reflects a change in religious conceptions and affects social structures, cultural practices, and visions of the cosmos. In ancient times, divinities linked to natural elements were fundamental in men's attempts to interpret and influence the surrounding environment. These gods, embodiments of natural forces and phenomena, were at the center of polytheistic religions, which saw the universe as inhabited by a plurality of supernatural entities. Interactions with these deities, through rites and sacrifices, reflected a vision of the world in which man sought a continuous dialogue with the forces that governed nature. The advent of monotheism introduced a radically different concept, focused on the existence of a single omnipotent God, creator of the universe and everything it contains. This ideological shift led to a new understanding of the relationship between divine and human, based on values of universality and morality, which transcended the local specificities linked to the cult of natural deities. Belief in one God also laid the foundation for developing more abstract philosophical and theological systems, profoundly influencing human thought. The transition to monotheism has manifested itself in various parts of the world through religious movements and prophetic figures, giving rise to religions such as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which have placed faith in a singular God at the center of their doctrines. These traditions have emphasized principles of justice and ethics, seeing man as a morally responsible subject before a God who is judged. This transition process was not simple or without conflicts, as it often involved profound social and political upheavals. The challenge of reconciling new monotheistic beliefs with pre-existing polytheistic traditions has led to complex dynamics of coexistence, comparison, and, sometimes, syncretism. The transformation from polytheism to monotheism illustrates one of the most significant evolutions in humanity's spiritual quest, profoundly impacting religious practices, social configurations, cultural expressions, and ethical aspirations. This change testifies to the continuous interaction between religious development and the historical and cultural context, highlighting the ability of spiritual beliefs to evolve in response to changes in human societies. Historical evolution of religions. The historical evolution of religions is a complex and articulated process that unfolds through millennia, reflecting the diversity of human cultures and their interactions with the environment, society, and spheres of knowledge. This evolutionary path has shaped the spirituality and beliefs of various civilizations and profoundly influenced their social, political, and artistic structures. In the earliest stages of human history, religions were deeply rooted in man's relationship with nature. Early forms of spirituality were characterized by an animism in which natural elements such as trees, rivers, and rocks were considered to have spirits or divine essences. This worldview reflected the profound interdependence between humanity and the natural environment, with religious practices often aiming to ensure the fertility of the land, the safety of communities, and the success of hunting. With the advent of the first urban civilizations in Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, and China, religions evolved towards organized polytheistic systems, with pantheons of divinities that personified natural forces, moral principles, and aspects of social life and politics. These religions developed complex mythologies, rituals, and priestly practices, often linked to the power and authority of the rulers, who were often considered descendants or representatives of the gods on earth. The axial period, a concept introduced by the philosopher Karl Jaspers to indicate an era of profound spiritual and philosophical transformation between 800 and 200 BC, marks a further turning point in the evolution of religions. In different parts of the world, prophetic figures and thinkers introduced new ideas emphasizing transcendence, universal ethics, and soul-searching. This period saw the birth or reform of great religious traditions, such as Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Confucianism, and Taoism, which still influence billions of people today. The following era was characterized by the expansion of monotheism, mainly through Christianity and Islam, which spread on a large scale thanks to movements of conquest and trade. These monotheistic religions introduced concepts of salvation, divine judgment, and a strong sense of community among the faithful, with profound implications for the societies in which they took root. Over time, religions have continued to evolve, interacting with each other in complex syncretism, reform, and revitalization processes. The modern and contemporary age has seen the emergence of secularization movements, the birth of new religions, and the spread of spiritual currents that emphasize individualism and the personal search for the sacred. The historical evolution of religions demonstrates the intrinsic capacity of spiritual traditions to adapt and respond to cultural, social, and intellectual changes in human societies. This ongoing transformation highlights religion's fundamental role in the search for meaning, building communities, and forming collective and individual identities across the centuries. The role of polytheism and monotheism in the concept of creator. The concept of creator, central to many religious traditions, varies significantly between polytheistic and monotheistic views, each offering a different perspective on the origin and maintenance of the universe. In polytheistic systems, such as those of ancient Greece, Rome, Egypt, and Hindu traditions, creation is often seen as a collective work of multiple deities, each with specific powers and scopes of influence. These deities, representations of natural forces or aspects of human life, interact with each other in ways that reflect the complexity and dynamicity of the natural world and human society. On the contrary, monotheism, which we find at the heart of religions such as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, presents the figure of a single, omnipotent God responsible for the creation of the entire universe. This vision introduces a God transcending the created world, emphasizing a unified and deliberate cosmic order. This divine oneness leads to a more abstract and universal understanding of divinity, focusing on questions of morality, justice, and the ultimate destiny of humanity rather than direct intervention in everyday affairs. The transition from polytheistic to monotheistic beliefs was a religious change and marked profound transformations in society's social and cultural structures. While polytheism often celebrates diversity and plurality, monotheism tends to promote values of unity and universality. This evolution has influenced art, literature, laws, and political organization, reflecting and shaping new conceptions of authority, community, and individual identity. The interaction between these visions of the divine demonstrates how religions have been and continue to be a reflection of human searches to understand the origin of existence and one's place in the universe. Through polytheism and monotheism, humanity has sought to express and understand the complexity of life in the cosmos, highlighting a continuous evolution in our relationship with the sacred. This historical and cultural journey highlights the diversity of human responses to the great questions of existence, underlining the richness and depth of spiritual research through the centuries. The Creator in the major world religions. The concept of Creator in significant world religions varies greatly, reflecting the diversity of views on the nature of the universe, the origin of existence, and the role of human beings within creation. These visions provide a framework for understanding the world and guide believers' values, practices, and sense of purpose. In Judaism, God is seen as the sole omnipotent creator of the universe, a concept expressed from the first lines of Genesis, the first book of the Torah. Creation is seen as a deliberate and loving act of God, which gives man a unique role and responsibility to steward creation. The oneness of God and his conventional relationship with the Jewish people are central, emphasizing justice, morality, and the observance of divine law. In Christianity shares with Judaism the belief in a creator God but introduces the doctrine of the Trinity, in which God manifests himself in three persons: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The New Testament revealed that Jesus Christ, the Son of God made man, deepens the idea of creation as an act of love that invites personal adherence and communion with God. Redemption and salvation through Jesus are seen as the fulfillment of the divine plan for creation. In Islam emphasizes the complete sovereignty of Allah as the sole creator of all that exists. The Quran describes Allah as extremely merciful and just, who created the universe with precision and for a purpose. Muslims believe that every human being is responsible for their behavior, aiming to live a life by divine will, as revealed through the messages of the last prophets, from Adam to Muhammad. In Hinduism presents a more complex and varied view of creation, with different narratives and conceptions of the creator coexisting. Some Vedic traditions describe devas as cosmic forces responsible for specific aspects of creation. Other philosophical currents, such as Advaita Vedanta, see Brahman, the ultimate and impersonal reality, as the source of all that exists, with the universe emerging as a manifestation of its being. In Buddhism generally does not focus on the notion of a divine creator. Instead, it emphasizes the laws of karma and reincarnation, the importance of awareness, and liberation from the cycle of rebirth, samsara, through attaining nirvana. Buddhist practice aims to deeply understand the nature of existence, to overcome suffering and attachment. Conclusions. The concept of creator varies greatly among major world religions, from a monotheistic view of a personal and active God in creation, to more impersonal or philosophical conceptions of the universe's origin. These different interpretations offer a rich spectrum of answers to fundamental questions about existence, meaning, and the ultimate purpose of life, reflecting the diversity of human experiences and spiritual quests. Comparisons and contrasts. Comparing and contrasting visions of the Creator in significant world religions reveals both the diversity of spiritual understandings and the points of contact that can exist between different traditions. These differences and similarities offer a window into the vast range of interpretations of the universe, human existence, and the divine. Similarities. Search for meaning and origin. Despite theological differences, all major world religions grapple with fundamental questions regarding the universe's origin and man's place within it. A universal search for meaning pushes humanity to seek a higher understanding of existence. Morality and cosmic order. Most religions associate creation with a cosmic and moral order that governs the universe. This order is often reflected in a code of ethics that guides human behavior, suggesting that living in harmony with divine or natural principles leads to greater spiritual fulfillment. Contrasts. Nature of the Creator. The main difference concerns the nature of the Creator. In monotheism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, God is a single, omnipotent, transcendent entity that created the universe ex nihilo, from nothing. In Hinduism, the concept of creation varies, with some texts featuring a multitude of deities responsible for different aspects of creation. In contrast, others see Brahman as the ultimate reality from which everything emerges. Buddhism, in contrast, does not focus on a divine creator. Instead, it emphasizes understanding the nature of existence through the laws of karma and dharma. Role of humanity. The role of humanity also varies significantly. In monotheistic traditions, humans are often seen as guardians of creation, with specific moral responsibilities. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the focus shifts to understanding the self and liberation from the cycle of rebirth, with spiritual practices aimed at realizing connection with the divine or enlightenment. Contact points. Interconnectedness and dependence. A common theme is the recognition of the interconnectedness between all beings, and the dependence on the cosmic or divine order. This manifests itself in the concept of dharma in Hinduism, the law of God in Abrahamic religions, and the practices of compassion and non-attachment in Buddhism. Transcendence and immanence. While monotheistic religions emphasize the transcendence of God, there is also an understanding of divine immanence, as in the Holy Spirit in Christianity, or the presence of God in Islam through His revealed word, the Quran. In Hinduism, Brahman is both transcendent and immanent, the ultimate reality from which everything emerges and resides. These comparisons and contrasts reflect the richness and complexity of human responses to the ultimate questions of existence. Each tradition offers a unique lens through which to view the world, contributing to a giant mosaic of spiritual understanding that continues to influence human thought, culture, and practice. Adaptations and syncretisms. Adaptations and syncretisms in religions reflect the ability of spiritual traditions to evolve and integrate, often in response to social, cultural, and environmental changes. These processes of adaptation and amalgamation of beliefs and practices from different traditions have been a constant in the history of religions, demonstrating the flexibility and dynamism of human spirituality. Religious adaptations. Religious adaptation occurs when a spiritual tradition changes to respond to new social or environmental conditions. This may include incorporating new teachings, adapting ritual practices, or the flexible interpretation of sacred texts. A historical example of religious adaptation is the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, which evolved their doctrines and practices in response to political, scientific, and social changes over the centuries. Another example can be seen in Hinduism, which has absorbed and reinterpreted multiple cultural and religious influences throughout its long history. Religious syncretism. Syncretism occurs when elements of different religious traditions blend to create new forms of spirituality. This can happen through conquest, migration, or cultural encounters. A classic example of syncretism is found in the religions of ancient Rome, where the gods of several conquered cultures were identified with Roman deities. Another notable example is voodoo, which combines elements of Christianity with African religious practices brought to the New World by enslaved people. Dynamics of adaptation and syncretism. The dynamics of adaptation and syncretism are often driven by the need to maintain cultural and spiritual relevance in a rapidly changing world. These processes can also help reduce conflicts between religious communities by finding common ground or integrating aspects of one faith into another. However, they can also lead to tensions within traditions, as purists may see change as deviating from fundamental principles. Impact on society and culture. Adaptations and syncretisms have profoundly impacted the societies and cultures in which they developed, influencing art, literature, social norms, and everyday practices. These processes show how religions are not static. isolated systems but living interconnected entities that respond to and contribute to the broader fabric of human culture. Ultimately, adaptations and syncretisms in world religions illustrate the continuing evolution of humanity's spiritual quest. These phenomena highlight the capacity of religious traditions to respond to changing contexts and to mutually enrich each other through interaction, reflecting the adaptable and interconnected nature of human spirituality. Social and cultural implications. The Creator as social glue. The figure of the Creator in its many manifestations across the main world religions plays a crucial role in the definition of cosmologies and theologies, and as a social glue that unites individuals and communities in a shared fabric of beliefs, values, and practices. This transcendent conception, which ranges from the idea of a personal, omnipotent God to more abstract or impersonal principles of universal origin and order, provides an everyday basis for collective identity, morality, and a sense of belonging. Belief in a Creator offers a standard narrative about the universe's origin and humanity's place, answering fundamental questions that transcend individual differences. This familiar narrative helps forge unity among the faithful, promoting social cohesion through shared rituals, holidays, and worship practices that strengthen community bonds and solidarity. Furthermore, the concept of the Creator serves as the foundation for the moral systems and laws that govern societies. Ethical norms derived from religious beliefs influence social behavior, work ethics, family interactions, and power structures, guiding proper conduct and providing a social regulation and control mechanism. The Creator figure is often invoked as the ultimate authority in justice and morality, offering a basis for social order and conflict resolution. The shared spirituality around the figure of the Creator can also facilitate overcoming social, economic, and racial divisions, promoting a sense of fundamental equality among human beings. The notion that all individuals are created from a single divine source can help reduce barriers between different strata of society, encouraging empathy, compassion, and mutual commitment. However, the centrality of the Creator as a social glue can also lead to tensions and conflicts, primarily when different interpretations of the divine will or the Creator's message compete. History is littered with examples where religion has been both a force for unification and a cause for division, demonstrating how shared spirituality can be both a powerful tool for cohesion and a point of fracture. In summary, the Creator figure in world religions acts as a powerful social glue, providing a standard structure of beliefs and values that unites people in cohesive communities. This social function of religion highlights spirituality's complex and multifaceted role in human societies, acting as a uniting force, a source of shared morality, and, at times, as a field of tension. Faith-based norms, values, and laws. Faith-based norms, values, and laws profoundly shape individual behavior and community cohesion, influencing global legal structures and policies. These principles derived from religious beliefs guide people's daily choices, encouraging behaviors such as generosity, honesty, and civic commitment, and offering comfort and hope in times of difficulty. Community life, enriched by shared values and rituals, promotes a sense of belonging, cooperation, and collective commitment toward the common good, highlighting the importance of faith as a foundation for social harmony and mutual support. At the same time, spiritual values have left an indelible imprint on the laws and policies of numerous nations, where principles of justice, human dignity, and collective well-being rooted in religious traditions continue to influence public debate and legislation. Even in contexts characterized by a clear separation between state and religious institutions, the echo of faith-based values is felt, helping to shape a more just and inclusive society. However, this intertwining of faith, ethics, and law is not without challenges, especially when different interpretations of religious doctrines clash with secular values or the beliefs of other faith communities. These tensions require a delicate balance and ongoing dialogue to ensure that the diversity of religions is respected, while promoting harmonious coexistence and respect for universal rights. The influence of faith-based norms, values, and laws on the social and cultural fabric demonstrates the power of religion to unite and divide, inspire positive action, and raise complex issues. This dynamic highlights the importance of exploring and understanding diverse religious traditions to appreciate the richness of human spirituality and navigate the challenges of coexistence in an increasingly interconnected and pluralistic world. The role of belief in community cohesion. Belief plays a crucial role in cementing community cohesion, acting as a social glue that binds people together through a shared set of values, traditions, and a deep sense of belonging. This spiritual bond, rooted in common faith, not only strengthens the collective identity, but also facilitates collaboration and mutual assistance between members, helping them overcome challenges together. Values and ethical principles deriving from religious beliefs guide daily actions toward the good of the community, promoting behaviors that reflect mutual respect and understanding. Participation in rituals and celebrations further strengthens this sense of unity, providing moments to reaffirm shared commitment to common principles and renew social bonds. The support network within faith communities is crucial, providing material help, spiritual guidance, and comfort in difficult times. This layer of security contributes significantly to individual and collective well-being, strengthening community bonds. However, differences in interpretations of doctrines or practices can generate tensions, both within communities and between different communities. Addressing these challenges requires an inclusive approach, open dialogue, and a constant commitment to mutual understanding and acceptance to maintain harmony and social cohesion. Ultimately, faith plays a significant role in weaving the fabric of community life, offering tools to strengthen shared identity and promote solidarity. Faith-based communities build resilient foundations that support their members through common values, shared practices, and support networks, highlighting the power of spirituality to bring people together. Faith, culture, and identity. Faith, closely intertwined with culture and identity, is a fundamental pillar in shaping individuals' perceptions of the world, social relationships, and sense of self. This complex bond contributes not only to defining the traditions and values of a community, but also to shaping the personal and collective narratives that guide the interpretation of reality and the navigation of life experiences. Faith, enriched and expressed through specific cultural practices, celebrations, and languages, provides a context in which values and norms are transmitted from generation to generation, strengthening the social fabric and belonging to a community. Stories, myths, and religious rites offer explanations of the universe's origins and man's place within it, and establish an ethical and behavioral code that influences daily decisions. Faith profoundly influences individual and collective identity, which acts as a lens through which individuals see themselves and their role in the world. Faith can inspire a sense of purpose and direction, influencing aspirations, life choices, and how individuals relate to others. At the same time, faith can be a source of comfort in times of difficulty, offering a spiritual stronghold and a sense of continuity through life's changes. However, the relationship between faith, culture, and identity can also create tension, especially in multicultural and multi-religious contexts, where different beliefs and practices meet and interact. The challenge of maintaining one's religious and cultural identity while being open to intercultural dialogue and understanding requires careful and thoughtful navigation. Recognizing and celebrating religious and cultural diversity while respecting differences is crucial to building inclusive and harmonious societies. Faith interacts closely with culture and identity to create a rich fabric of meanings, values, and practices that define communities and individuals. This intertwining enriches social and spiritual life and lays the foundation for mutual understanding and respect in an increasingly connected and diverse world. Faith, as an expression of the human search for meaning, continues to play an essential role in shaping societies, profoundly influencing how people interpret their existence and interact with one another. Religion and nationalism. The relationship between religion and nationalism is complex and multifaceted, with deep historical roots and significant implications for contemporary societies. This bond can serve as a unifying and divisive force, profoundly influencing national identity, social cohesion, and political dynamics. Religion, as a system of shared beliefs and values, has often provided a powerful tool for building national identity, offering symbols, narratives, and traditions that strengthen the sense of belonging and unity among members of a nation. Religious figures, founding myths, and sacred holidays are often intertwined with national history and culture, becoming pillars of collective identity and vehicles through which nationalism is expressed. In specific historical contexts, religion has been used to justify the formation of nation-states, support independence movements, or promote national unity in opposition to colonial or occupying powers. The narrative of a common destiny guided by divine principles can strengthen solidarity among citizens and legitimize a people's political and territorial aspirations. However, the close association between religion and nationalism can generate tensions and conflicts, especially in multi-religious societies or contexts where different national or ethnic identities compete for legitimacy and power. The exclusivist use of religion as the foundation of national identity can marginalize minority groups, fuel intolerance, and hinder integration and peace efforts. Religious nationalism, where faith becomes an essential criterion of national belonging and a driver of domestic and foreign policy, can lead to exclusionary policies and sometimes justify violent actions. This phenomenon manifests in different forms worldwide, with movements seeking to reaffirm national identity through religious principles, often in response to perceptions of cultural or political threat. Despite these challenges, there are also examples of how religion can help promote intercultural dialogue and national reconciliation. Interreligious and ecumenical initiatives can offer spaces for mutual understanding and the construction of a shared vision of a nation that respects religious and cultural diversity. In conclusion, the relationship between religion and nationalism continues to be a significant factor in the configuration of societies and global geopolitics. The ability to navigate this complex relationship, valuing the unifying potential of faith while addressing the risks of division and conflict, represents a crucial challenge for building inclusive, peaceful, and resilient societies. Personal spirituality versus collective identity. The dynamic between personal spirituality and collective identity reflects one of spiritual life's most challenging and enriching balances. On the one hand, personal spirituality allows individuals to embark on a unique internal journey, exploring meaning and transcendent connection in ways that resonate deeply with their personal experiences and beliefs. This individual pursuit can include a variety of practices, such as meditation, solitary contemplation, self-study of sacred texts, or participation in spiritual retreats, allowing for deep personalization of the spiritual path. On the other hand, collective identity draws strength from belonging to a community of shared faith, where traditions, rituals, and common values create a fabric of relationships and meanings that support the community members. This sense of belonging provides guidance, structure, and context for experiencing and celebrating spirituality in communion with others, strengthening social bonds and transmitting beliefs across generations. The point of tension between these two dimensions emerges when personal spiritual research clashes with or deviates from community norms and teachings. This may raise questions about freedom of spiritual expression and the role of religious institutions in guiding or limiting this expression. However, there is also incredible potential for synergy, where personal insights can enrich and renew community life, and where community can provide fertile ground for sharing and individual spiritual growth. Therefore, navigating between personal spirituality and collective identity requires open dialogue, mutual respect, and a willingness to listen. Finding a balance allows individuals to enrich their spiritual lives with the resources and support of the community, while contributing to the renewal and vitality of the shared tradition with their own experiences and discoveries. This dynamic balance offers a path to a spirituality that is deeply personal and rooted in a rich texture of collective relationships and meanings, celebrating the diversity of spiritual experiences within the unity of the community. Criticisms and contrasts. Atheist and agnostic views. Atheist and agnostic views represent significant approaches to the discourse on spirituality, offering perspectives that deviate from traditional religious and theistic conceptions. Both visions grapple with the big questions of existence, morality, and meaning, while adopting starting points and conclusions that differ substantially from those proposed by organized religions. Atheism, in essence, denies the existence of deities or supernatural entities, relying on a worldview that emphasizes rationality, empirical evidence, and the scientific method to understand the universe. Atheists can approach questions of meaning, purpose, and morality through humanistic and rationalistic philosophies, arguing that compassion, fairness, and justice can be cultivated independently of theistic beliefs. In this context, life is often considered an intrinsically valuable phenomenon to maximize individual and collective well-being throughout earthly existence. On the other hand, agnosticism maintains a position of openness and uncertainty regarding the existence of deities, emphasizing the limits of human knowledge and the difficulty of reaching definitive conclusions on matters that transcend empirical experience. Agnostics can vary widely in their personal beliefs and spiritual practices, with some leaning toward more religious or spiritual attitudes, and others leaning more closely toward atheism. Agnosticism invites ongoing exploration and reflection on existential questions, promoting open dialogue and critical inquiry into different conceptions of the divine and the meaning of life. Both of these perspectives offer essential contributions to the debate on spirituality and identity, inviting us to consider the diversity of human experiences and reflections on the great questions of life. Atheist and agnostic views, while challenging established religious traditions, enrich the fabric of spiritual inquiry, emphasizing critical inquiry, moral autonomy, and the valorization of concrete human experience. The coexistence of atheist, agnostic, and religious views in a pluralistic society highlights the importance of intercultural dialogue and tolerance, recognizing that diversity of beliefs and practices can build a richer mosaic of mutual understanding and respect. This variety of approaches to spirituality and religion highlights humanity's ongoing exploration of the mysteries of existence, meaning, and connection in a vast and complex universe. Arguments against the existence of a creator. Arguments against the existence of a creator are articulated through different strands of thought, often rooted in philosophical, scientific, and theological considerations. These arguments question the foundations of theistic beliefs, proposing alternative explanations about the universe's origin, life's complexity, and morality's nature. Here are some of the main arguments presented in this debate. Philosophical arguments. 1. Problem of evil. One of the best-known arguments against the existence of an omnipotent and benevolent God is the problem of evil. This topic raises the question of how evil can exist in a world created by a perfect God. The presence of suffering, injustice, and pain contradicts the idea of an omniscient, omnipotent, and infinitely benevolent creator. 2. Occam's razor. This philosophical principle suggests that one should not multiply entities beyond necessity. Applied to the debate over the existence of God, it indicates that the universe can be explained without invoking the existence of a supernatural creator, preferring explanations that require fewer assumptions. Scientific arguments. 1. Big Bang Theory and Evolution. Scientific discoveries relating to the origin of the universe and the development of life through the theory of evolution provide naturalistic explanations that do not require the intervention of a creator. The Big Bang, for example, is commonly understood as the beginning of the universe as we know it, based on observable evidence and physical theories. In contrast, Darwin's theory of evolution explains the diversity of life through natural processes such as natural selection. 2. The absence of empirical evidence. Another argument is based on the lack of direct empirical evidence of the existence of a creator. Skeptics argue that belief in a God is not scientifically justifiable without observable and measurable evidence. Theological arguments. 1. Contradictions and discrepancies in sacred texts. Some critics focus on contradictions, discrepancies, and morally questionable teachings found in sacred texts, arguing that these defects cast doubt on the divinity or infallibility of such texts, and, by extension, the existence of a perfect creator who would inspire them. 2. The challenge of practical atheism. Some philosophers and theologians argue that living without a creator does not change the need to search for meaning, morality, and purpose. This perspective emphasizes how humanity can build robust ethical systems and find meaning in human existence without relying on a creator figure. These arguments represent only one part of the more significant debate about the existence of a creator, reflecting the variety of approaches and perspectives through which people explore the big questions of reality and the cosmos. As the debate continues, the diversity of opinions on the topic highlights the complexity of the human search for understanding and meaning. Agnosticism as a middle ground. Agnosticism is positioned in the middle of the debate on the existence of a creator, oscillating between theistic belief and atheistic denial. It represents a profound reflection on the ultimate questions of fact. This approach accepts the idea that human understanding may not be sufficient to address such profound questions as the existence of God, opting for a position of conscious uncertainty rather than unprovable certainty. Agnosticism, therefore, encourages an open and respectful exploration of various beliefs and scientific discoveries, emphasizing the value of doubt and continuous research. In this context, agnosticism becomes fertile ground for dialogue between spiritual research and rational investigation, laying the foundations for an exploration that respects both religious traditions and the progress of science. Modernity has brought significant challenges to traditional conceptions of the divine, with scientific discoveries offering new perspectives on the universe's origins and the complexity of life. In the face of these developments, agnosticism proposes a balance that accommodates admiration for the natural world and the search for meaning that surpasses purely material explanations. Looking to the future, agnosticism suggests the possibility of a new paradigm in which faith and science are not in conflict, but dialogue constructively, allowing a vision of existence that welcomes both empirical knowledge and a sense of mystery. This perspective invites a more matrixed understanding of the universe and our place in it. It promotes an approach to spirituality and knowledge that values both the question and the answer in the ongoing human effort to find meaning and connection in a vast and complex universe. Dialogue between faith and rationalism. The dialogue between faith and rationalism proves to be a meeting ground between two profoundly different ways of interpreting existence, each with its value and limitations. On the one hand, faith embraces mystery and transcendence, offering answers to the ultimate questions about life, the universe, and everything based on personal experience and a sense of the sacred. On the other hand, rationalism rests on the foundations of logic, empiricism, and the scientific method, pursuing knowledge through critical inquiry and hypothesis testing. These two approaches, although appearing to be antithetical, can coexist and enrich each other. Faith can inspire a sense of wonder and the search for meaning that transcends material explanations. At the same time, rationalism offers the tools to navigate the world with critical eyes, examining beliefs and promoting understanding based on evidence and reasoning. The comparison between these two worlds is not free from tensions, especially when religious beliefs clash with scientific evidence or rational thought, which seems to deny the importance of spiritual experiences. However, this dialogue paves the way for a joint exploration of the fundamental questions of existence, encouraging a thoughtful and informed faith and rationality that recognizes the limits of knowledge and the importance of human experience. Promoting constructive dialogue between faith and rationalism means embracing a vision of existence that values both the empirical and transcendent dimensions, recognizing that truth can manifest itself in multiple forms. This interaction offers the possibility of building an integrated paradigm, where questions of faith inspire scientific inquiry and rational discoveries enrich spiritual understanding, guiding us on a shared journey towards understanding the complexity of the universe and our place within it. Contemporary challenges to the concept of a creator. Contemporary challenges to the concept of creator emerge from various fields, including scientific advances, philosophical reflections, and socio-cultural changes, all contributing to an increasingly complex and multifaceted debate on the existence and nature of a creative entity. Advances in science, particularly in fields such as astronomy, evolutionary biology, and neuroscience, offer naturalistic explanations for phenomena that were once attributed to divine intervention. The Big Bang Theory, for example, provides a model of the universe's origin based on physical principles. In contrast, Darwin's theory of evolution explains the diversity of life without the need for a creator. These developments raise questions about the need for a creator in the context of creating and maintaining the universe. From a philosophical point of view, the increase in secular and humanistic thought has called into question the centrality and existence of a creator. Critical reflection on the existence of God, the problems of evil and suffering in the world, and the debate on the universe's origin and human consciousness fuel a continuous examination of the very foundations of theism. Culturally, increased plurality and globalization have exposed societies to various spiritual beliefs and practices, broadening the understanding of human existence beyond the confines of monotheistic traditions. This diversity has stimulated an interreligious and intercultural dialogue that, while enriching mutual understanding, calls into question the universality and exclusivity of any singular concept of creator. Socially, the growing emphasis on individualism and self-determination challenges the idea of a divine authority guiding human destiny. The aspiration for greater personal autonomy and freedom of choice in faith and morals contrasts with traditional conceptions of a creator, God who determines absolute laws and principles. These challenges do not necessarily mean the end of belief in the concept of one creator for all. Instead, they invite a deeper exploration and more matrix understanding of spirituality and divinity, encouraging believers and skeptics to examine how ancient narratives about God adapt or evolve in modernity. The response to these challenges can lead to a more thoughtful and informed faith, an openness towards new forms of spirituality, or a renewed appreciation for the mystery and wonder of existence, indicating a path of continuous research and dialogue in understanding the universe and humanity's place within it. The future of belief in a scientific age. In the scientific age, the future of belief emerges as a terrain of dynamic interaction between scientific discoveries and spiritual investigations, where both fields can offer unique perspectives on human existence and the universe. As science advances to unravel the universe's workings, from the complexity of life on Earth to the depths of outer space, spirituality continues to explore dimensions of meaning, purpose, and transcendence that surpass purely physical explanations. A greater integration between science and spirituality is envisaged, in which empirical knowledge and the search for a broader meaning of life can coexist harmoniously. This convergence could challenge traditional concepts of faith based on literal and dogmatic interpretations, pushing toward a more flexible and open understanding that welcomes scientific truths without giving up spiritual research. At the same time, forms of spirituality and personal research will likely emerge and consolidate that dialogue with the scientific vision of the world, ranging from meditation to connection with nature, reflecting a widespread desire to live spiritual experiences in ways that respect scientific rigor. The vitality of dialogue between religious and scientific communities will be crucial to the future of belief, creating common spaces where doubts can be raised, discoveries shared, and hope nourished, can foster a culture of mutual respect and shared curiosity, enriching spiritual life and scientific research. In this scenario, belief evolves in a context where science and spirituality are not mutually exclusive, but considered allies in understanding reality. This approach opens up a vision of existence that enhances the depth and complexity of the natural world and human experiences, suggesting a future in which the search for knowledge and the search for meaning proceed together, illuminating the path towards a richer and more nuance of life and the universe. Conclusion. Summary of topics covered. In concluding this book, we have embarked on a journey through the vastness of human interpretations of the universe and our relentless search for understanding. We explored how different cultures and traditions worldwide conceive of the idea of a creator, reflecting on the variety of narratives that help us make sense of existence. We have seen how spirituality and science, two spheres of thought often considered in conflict, can enrich and inform each other, offering us a more complete vision of reality. This dialogue between faith and rationalism invites us to consider a new paradigm in which we do not have to choose between the heart and the mind, but can use both to explore the depths of the universe and human meaning. Reflecting on this, we are invited to imagine a future in which our search for knowledge and meaning can unite people in shared understanding, celebrating the diversity of our experiences and beliefs as we seek answers to life's most profound questions. Ultimately, our exploration leads us toward a new paradigm of faith and science, one in which we can recognize and appreciate each perspective's unique value to our collective understanding. This integrated approach enriches our knowledge and strengthens the fabric of our global community, encouraging us to look beyond superficial divisions toward more profound and meaningful collaboration in our ongoing search for truth and meaning. The eternal human quest to understand the universe. The eternal human quest to understand the universe is intimately intertwined with the depths of cosmology and the revolutionary scientific theories that seek to reveal the origins and structure of the universe. This investigation, rooted in ancient cosmogonic narratives and modern interpretations of the Big Bang, represents a unique meeting point between science, philosophy, and spirituality, each contributing to a broader dialogue about the nature of existence and our place in the cosmos. Scientific cosmology, with its approach based on the principles of physics, has led to significant understandings regarding the intrinsic order and apparent chaos of the universe, revealing a cosmos governed by precise physical laws. These discoveries, supported by astronomical observations and detailed experiments, have not only broadened our horizon of knowledge, but have also fueled profound reflections on the origin and evolution of the universe. In parallel, the relationship between science and religion has navigated through conflicts and moments of mutual inspiration, with many seeking ways of coexistence. The tension between religious and scientific explanations of the universe's origin invites a dialogue that considers complementary perspectives, each with its scope of questions and answers. This dialogue is further enriched in the 21st century with growing interest in neurotheology, suggesting that spirituality may be intrinsically linked to human biology, perhaps rooted in the very structure of our brains. In this context, cosmology continues to inspire humanity in its search for meaning and offers a space where science and spirituality can converge. This interaction not only enriches both perspectives, but also invites continuous exploration that surpasses the boundaries of current knowledge, in search of a more integrated and holistic understanding of reality. The Big Bang Theory, in particular, provides a solid basis for understanding the origin and evolution of the universe, supported by evidence such as the cosmic background radiation and the large-scale distribution of galaxies. Furthermore, investigations of the universe extend beyond the Big Bang, exploring fundamental questions such as dark matter, dark energy, and the multiverse concept, stimulating discussions that could one day radically expand our understanding of reality. In conclusion, our eternal quest to understand the universe, fueled by an insatiable curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, leads us to reflect not only on cosmic origins, but also on our place in the vast cosmos. Modern science, with its theories and investigations, not only offers explanations on how the universe may have originated and evolved, but also pushes us to contemplate the very nature of reality and our role within it. Final reflections towards a new paradigm of faith and science. In these final reflections, we approach the threshold of a new paradigm of faith and science. This uncharted frontier promises to redefine how we perceive the universe and our place within it. This new paradigm does not see faith and science as antagonists, but as two complementary avenues of research and understanding, each with its methods and domains. They are both indispensable for a holistic understanding of reality. Faith, rooted in human experience, tradition, and a sense of the sacred, offers us a perspective on the transcendent dimension of existence, meaning, and purpose that transcend the capabilities of pure reason or empirical inquiry. On the other hand, science, with its commitment to rigorous investigation, observation, and experiment, provides powerful tools to explore the universe's structure, the laws of nature, and the mechanisms underlying life and consciousness. Integrating faith and science in a new paradigm invites us to overcome old dichotomies and recognize that both can enrich our search for understanding and meaning. It pushes us to consider that spirituality and scientific inquiry, rather than being in conflict, can inform and support each other, broadening our worldview and understanding of the human condition. Such a paradigm embraces scientific discoveries and the depths of faith. It encourages open and respectful dialogue between different worldviews, promoting a sense of wonder and humility in the face of the universe's immensity and the complexity of life. It recognizes that despite our best efforts, there are mysteries that remain beyond the reach of science and existential questions that require reflection that goes beyond empirical data. We hope toward a new paradigm of faith and science, knowing that our joint journey toward understanding and wisdom is infinite. In this journey, our aspiration is not only to accumulate knowledge, but to weave together different life philosophies into a tapestry that celebrates the diversity of human experiences and the richness of our shared search for truth, beauty, and meaning. This has been The Creator, written by Dale Brown, narrated by Steve Jones, copyright 2024 Dale Brown, production copyright 2024 by Dale Brown.